Welcome back to the Buzzworthy Consultant Podcast, where we chat with the leading thought leaders in the consulting industry. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Nona Prather, the owner of a booking agency for professional speakers, consultants, and entertainers. She's also the author of 24 Ways to Get Paid to Speak and leads workshops on using paid speaking opportunities to attract clients and grow businesses. Let's see what makes Nona so buzzworthy. Welcome to the show, Nona. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule because you are one busy person.
Yes.
Where are you calling in from?
Right now, I'm in Angel Fire, New Mexico.
New Mexico. My wife just talked about moving us to New Mexico after retirement.
Oh.
And I was like, I don't know. But then she showed me like this mountainous area. I'm like, okay. I said, I can't do the middle of the desert. No,
That's
I'm
where
good.
we are.
Oh, no,
We're
can't
in
do
the
it.
mountains. You can come visit the mountains.
Okay, there we go. Yes, the mountains I can do. So
where you move. Yeah.
there you go. Yes. And your background looks gorgeous. So yes, that I could probably live with if there were mountains around me. So We did not talk about mountains in the desert today. We are talking about getting paid to attract clients.
Yes.
And so you are a guru at this, been doing this for quite a while. You have your own business in helping people do this, as we mentioned in your intro. So how does one get paid to attract new clients?
Yes. So the right thing is to find the right stages to be on, which is my expertise. It's what I've been doing for about 30 years. So being on the right stages in front of the right audience can build your business astronomically by hitting a large number of possible clients at the same time. Plus, you get paid to be on their stage and share your advice and your input. And so you get paid while you're finding clients at the same time. It's the best business builder that I've found.
That is amazing. So we're talking about getting on stage, though.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't speaking like one of the top fears of people? Like people would rather like lay in a bed of snakes or something like that crazy than do public speaking.
Oh, yeah.
How do you help people get past that? Well, there's two things. Let's start with the fear.
Yeah.
How do they get past the fear, or what is causing this fear? And then how can we get past it?
I have found that a lot of people have imposter syndrome, and they get up on that stage and they look out at the people in the audience and they think, I shouldn't be here. But the truth is, they should be there. But just imposter syndrome is so huge for honestly everyone. It took me a long time to get over it as well. And I never wanted to be a speaker either. But once I embraced it and realized that nobody knows when you mess up, nobody knows when something happens, they're not even really they're impressed that you're even on stage in the first place, so they're not paying attention to your little mess ups. And honestly, if you do mess up, that just makes you more relatable to the audience and more approachable, in my opinion. So I wouldn't sweat it too much.
There you go. I love that. And imposter syndrome is a huge deal. I mean, it's funny because was talking about imposter syndrome and the fact that no matter how successful you are, people will worry or work through imposter syndrome. So once you become a millionaire and you start hanging out with other millionaires, you'll get imposter syndrome because you're so used to not being a millionaire. And then you become a decamillionaire. And that's another echelon.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to get around those people so that you can become that if that's what you want to be. And then you have the billionaires and you start hanging out with and you become you're approaching being a billionaire. So you start talking to billionaires and now you have that imposter syndrome again. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about money. It could be about expertise, right? And like you said, you're getting on the stage and you're looking at all these people. You don't know what they know. You don't know what they don't know. Exactly. And they have no idea what you're about to say. And I agree with you. When you, in your mind, mess up, they don't know. They don't have the script. They're not following along to go, trying to figure out if you messed up on a stuff. And if you stumble, you stumble. Everybody stumbles in conversation. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Shoot. I mean, in my podcast, I have a script that I read from. So that I don't get off because I'm dyslexic and ADHD. So like I can get off on a tangent really fast, right? If I don't have somebody like actually to talk to and my social cues,
it's easy. Yeah.
I'm done, right? Yeah. Right. So, and even then I leave some of my mess ups in there because of
Yeah.
what you said. It makes you relatable.
Yes.
Nobody wants to be nobody wants to ask a perfect person for help.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's embarrassing because you're like, oh, you're so perfect. But honestly, they probably are also suffering from imposter syndrome, but you just don't know it. So those millionaires, decamillionaires, they probably have the same thing going on in your mind, but they're just presenting themselves like they don't. And whenever this is kind of a funny story, when me and my twin brother were in high school, he was really popular football guy, and I was like the shy one that was in the background. I was like the president of all the clubs and all that, but I
I
wasn't
love
like
that.
up in the speaking
Yeah.
part. And I just always had this really bad imposter syndrome. So I always thought, I'm not good enough. I'm too shy. No one likes me, whatever, which was so untrue. My brothers, I said, how do you do it? Everyone seems to love you. And he said, Nona, if you just walk like you have like you think you are the best person in the entire, if it's all about the way you view yourself. And even
Mhm.
though I don't feel like I'm the smartest person in this entire school, I walk around like I am, and everybody else can like feel that radiation coming off of me. And in
Mm.
turn, everyone sees me as popular or smart, but I'm
Mhm.
just pretending, is what he told me. And I was like, so everybody's pretending. And after that, my life actually started getting I started getting more friends, being a
Mhm.
little more social because I realized everybody's faking it. And I didn't realize
Mhm.
it until he told me at that point. And I was like, oh, he's like, I don't have the confidence you think I do. I just pretend I do. And that
There
was
you
kind
go. I like it. I like
of
that. Like, and if there's some people who would consider um that way of thinking maybe incongruent or unauthentic, but if you think about as an adult, we're not talking kids. We're all pretending we know what we're doing.
oh
We
yeah,
all pretend we know everything, right? I mean, I remember when I knew everything in the world, and as I got older, I realized how little. The more I learn, the less I know,
yes.
right?
Oh,
And
absolutely.
so, but nowadays, now it's the ability. Like my wife she's a PhD candidate, right? And she knows education and history specifically, right?
Yeah.
And when you're in that space, she is confident, right?
Yes.
And in
Yes.
marketing, and when we talk about marketing, she comes to me. She's like, "You're the
Mhm.
person because I'm confident in
Yeah.
what I do." So so for those who are worried about like being inauthentic, if you stand in the place where you know you have the goods, you do not have to be the best, and you
No.
do not have to know all of the things. You just have to be one step ahead of the people you're talking to. And if you
Yes.
look at everybody else as they're there to learn from you. If they didn't think they could learn something from you, they wouldn't be there. So
Exactly.
their presence alone gives you permission to stand in your strength. So I think that's like the two things you gave us right there are invaluable just in that. I could stop the interview and you guys would all be better public speakers in its own. But that is not what we're here for. We're here to figure out how to how do you get paid to speak?
Yeah, you ask. I know it's a weird concept, but
Who
everyone
do
always,
we ask?
how do you do this? And I say, okay, so what me and my team do is, I mean, for every one of our clients, I mean, we are constantly adding to their lead list in their
Mhm,
target market that they want to speak at. We call and we say, are you the correct decision maker? Does this person sound like someone you would hire? And can we add you to our list? So we
mhm,
always call and we ask permission before we send anything out because the speaking industry is all about relationships, who you
mhm,
know, who likes you, who can recommend you, who can refer you. So we're really
mhm,
just trying to create relationships. And
mhm,
it's simply by calling and asking. And I hate how people say, why don't you just eat? So some people say, isn't that a waste of time? Shouldn't you just be emailing? Well, emailing over and over and over, I mean, the
yeah,
chance of them opening the email and actually resonating with it is so small. But if you
mhm,
call and say, hey, I have this person who I think might be a good fit for your audience, can I send you some information? And they're literally 99% of the times they're nice. I mean, I have some horror
mhm,
stories for some people doing calls, but most of the time, I promise you, 99.8% of the time, they are friendly. And if they even are not interested, they're friendly and they'll turn you down in a friendly way. Most
mhm,
people are
mhm.
not when we call and ask permission.
I love it.
So, so that's
Hey,
really encouraging. But
networking, not what you know, who you know. That's a
exactly,
huge
it's all
deal.
about relationships. And we call and we ask permission because we want them to know it's coming. And we
Mhm.
want that relationship to build instead of them going, oh, another email, another email, another email.
Right, right, right. And once you do get on a stage, I think that there are some secrets there that we could uncover as far as that networking. What are some of your tips of like once you do get a paid gig to speak, of what the before, the during, after? What are your
Oh
tips
yeah.
of like getting the next gig?
I kind of have a story. So there's this one client, I got him a gig and it was a really good gig at a really good company, pretty big, a keynote, pretty big paycheck. After we signed the agreement, he decided that the travel fee they gave him was not up to his standards. So he asked me to go back and ask them. And he says, "Well, I'm going to have to go back to the accounting department and get this approved again by my manager. All of this." They did it, kind of begrudgingly, not very happy about it, but they did. And then he came back and said, "Ugh, I don't like the venue. I don't want to stay at the hotel venue. They need to pay for me to stay at another one." And I was like, okay, they're probably not going to do this. And I just said, no, no, this is okay. You already signed the agreement.
Mhm.
So I said no. And so the guy called the decision maker behind my back and said, I want this or I'm not coming. Well, the guy, of course, the decision maker called me and was super mad and said, this is so unprofessional, blah, 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 whatever.
Mhm.
And he said,
Mhm.
he better knock it out of the park. So he went to the event. He did. He knocked it out of the park. I called and he goes, oh, that was so amazing. Everyone loved him. It was so great. He said, however, we've decided we're not bringing in any third party professional speakers anymore. It was just too much of a headache. We don't want to deal with people like that anymore.
Oh my gosh.
So he ruined the relationship for himself. He burned that bridge. Yes, he got
Mhm.
that one time paycheck, but what if it had turned into more of an opportunity? And
Yeah.
he burned that bridge for me, and he burned that bridge for anybody else I could have possibly got booked in there in the future at
Ah.
the same event. So he ruined the relationship,
Mm.
even though he's a great speaker, but he
Mhm.
wasn't easy to work with. So my number one thing
Mhm.
is always, you're not the star of the show. You're not a diva. You're not the one. You
Mhm.
are not Celine Dion, Madonna. You are not that person. You are there to serve that
Mm.
client and to
Mm.
help educate their audience. You're not there to be the star.
Oh, I
And
love that.
so when people start getting really a lot of booking gigs, they start to get this kind of a big head, and you can tell it's like, okay, okay, calm down. You're here for them. You're here to serve them, and it's just sometimes I'm just like, please just be easy to work with. And that's like number one, because if I send someone there, it's my reputation as well.
Right.
And
Yeah.
to-
And even if you didn't use somebody like Nona to get that gig, the same applies. Like
oh yeah,
and the thing is this, the event planners know event planners.
yes, and
And
they
so, and the thing, I mean, I've slept in some pretty shady places because, well, that's what they could afford. And if I
yeah,
wanted to be in front of those people, and remember what we're talking about from the beginning here is that we are getting paid to get in front of people who could hire us for more business.
yeah. So
Now,
be nice.
because that gentleman decided to be a Madonna,
Yeah,
they're not going to hire him for any workshops. They're not going to want to buy his books. They're not going to want to do any of that stuff, which
because they don't
is
have the
really where you make the money. Like you're
exactly.
breaking even to do if you get paid even a big check, you're
Yeah,
getting paid to break even for your time because you're trading time for
yeah,
money. Period of the story. So if
exactly.
you don't come out with any other opportunities from that, you just broke even. You didn't make money. You might have paid some bills, but you did not make any money. And I think
Yeah,
that that servant's heart is what people buy. So if you
yeah,
come in, another thing that I do as a speaker as I go in, if it's an event, I'm there at the beginning of the event. I'm at the,
yeah.
whatever the opening ceremony is, all that stuff. I'm at all the networking. I'm at all of the cocktail parties, all of the luncheons, anything and everywhere I can be. And then I also let them know where can I help you in the event. Be
Yes.
part of the
Yeah.
event
And
because
ask,
the event
yeah,
is bigger than you. So if you are now associated with the event and then they remember you from the event, they're going to remember you longer than if you're just a guy that, what was the event
exactly.
I saw that guy at? Right. And then you're going to now all of the other agents and planners and stuff that are at the event, they're going to remember you too. And you're going to be the helpful guy, the guy that they like to be around in person, if you
Yes.
will. Right.
Yes,
And
I
so
was,
sorry.
I was at the MPI, event in Austin, a couple of years ago,
Mhm.
and I was just attending the event, and I was just gonna walk around. I just had a general admission pass. I was just gonna walk around and just meet people. I
Mhm.
went to the event planner and I said, "Hey, if you need any help with anything, if you need someone to because they usually have someone, like, managing the rooms and the breakout
Mhm.
rooms and, like,
Mhm.
helping
Mhm.
speakers find their way," stuff like that.
Sure.
And I said,
Sure.
"If you need help with anything," and they were like, "Actually, the person introducing our keynote didn't show up. Are you okay with doing that?" And it was just a script that they already had. And I was like, "Heck yeah, I wanna do that." So I
That's
got to
easy.
introduce the keynoter at the opening because I
Nice.
asked if I could help in some way. And it
Right.
was great. It was great. Like, so many people came up to me afterwards and, wanted to know more
For
about
you.
my
Right,
It was
right.
wonderful.
See, is somebody interesting, right? And the
Yeah,
thing is now you get to say you spoke on that stage.
exactly. It was great. It was a
And
perfect, and
those
just
are
because I
great,
was there
especially
and I was
big
helpful.
stages.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So what's the key to then turning that opportunity to speak in front of those people? What's the key to making it a profitable opportunity past the speaking fee?
Just what you said. I tell my clients they don't, if it's a 3-day conference, they don't have to be at all 3 days, but the day that they're speaking, they need to be there from open to close because that's when they get the opportunity to network with the attendees and they can talk to the decision maker and say, "Can you introduce me to people?" They go to the luncheon, they sit at a table. I mean, that's worth going, not just because I hate when people come in and they do their 1 minute or their 1 hour talk and then they immediately come in and leave. It's like
Mm,
you're leaving so much on the table when you do that. I mean, again, it's
mm,
like thinking outside the box and creating relationships, not just coming in, doing your talk and leaving, but like thinking about all of those relationships that you're there for the day. And I understand not being there for the entire event because, it's like
mm.
3-day event, that's 3 days out of work that I am. But that one day, I am there and I am very present and I am meeting absolutely everyone I can. And that's been the best way that I have personally found with my own personal experiences of growing my business too. So I know it works.